Spotlight. This is Angie Carpenter, Town of Islip Supervisor. And with us today we have Lauren Vlachos, who is the Executive Director of the Alzheimer's Disease Resource Center right here in the town of Islip, in East Islip at 200 Carleton Avenue. And it's an interesting history. Lauren, thank you so much for being with us today. I met Lauren at the grand opening of their new location here, again, still in the town of Islip because you were located in Bayshore. And they have a very interesting history. And the woman that preceded you as the executive director, who unfortunately is no longer with us, Marianne Ragona, was so dedicated to this issue and so committed. And she spun off right from what was a national organization to really focus it here at home.
Correct.
Really focus it here on Long Island, especially that, you know, your offices are in the town of Islip. So we're really excited and delighted about that. It was interesting, at your ribbon cutting of the new location, Marianne's family was there.
Yes.
And I met someone I hadn't seen in years. And it sort of reinforced in my mind something that I know you know and others are learning. Alzheimer's touches almost everybody.
Correct.
You know?
Yes. That's what I'm noticing as well. Again, thank you for having me today. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to really just share the information about our organization, but you're exactly right. I assumed the executive director position on June 1. I actually formerly was with the Boy Scouts of America, which is a wonderful program, but joining the Alzheimer's Disease Resource Center, I'm finding that as I go out and I'm in the community and I meet people and people kind of ask me, you know, where do you do? What do you do? That the moment that I say, you know, that I serve families who are on the journey of Alzheimer's, so many people, oh, my mom, oh, my grandmother, oh, my uncle, everywhere I go, you know, I'm in the Verizon store even, and the gentleman helping me is like, wow, my grandmother, really? Like, tell me more. Like, what do you guys do? So yes, I agree.
Well, that's what today is all about. You're going to tell us more.
Correct.
I know the Resource Center, when it existed in Bayshore, family friends of ours, her husband was afflicted with Alzheimer's. And it was so very sad to watch. This man, you would probably classify as brilliant. You know, he was an educator and an expert in the field. He was someone that people reached out to.
Yep.
And to see that slip away. But the Alzheimer's Resource Center provided an opportunity for him to have some sort of quality of life, and for his wife, when you talk about going on that journey.
Yes.
It's kind of a good way of describing it. And she took him to the art therapy program, and you would, if you had met him, you would never in a million years think that he would have sat still for something like that. But it wound up being so therapeutic, not just for him, but for her.
And that's what we see, actually, Supervisor, is that, you know, folks in the beginning are a little shell-shocked when they first hear or get a diagnosis that they're beginning to have cognitive decline, and then that's what our Resource Center does. It provides, first, an opportunity for families to reach out and have a care consultation with our social worker, and that's free of charge. So again, you know, maybe you get the diagnosis, like, now what? What's the next step? Where do I turn? So you can reach out to us for that, and our social worker is amazing and can really sit down, and she will, because now, you know, we're in the age of COVID, you know, she'll Zoom with a family if that's more feasible for them. She'll go to them, meet in a local public library, so that people don't have to drive so far to kind of get the information that they need. And then once she kind of works with them on a care plan, exactly right, we have art programs and music therapy programs, and the idea is those opportunities provide a chance to kind of, you know, rebuild some memories and make new memories with the person that you love. So coming down to our Resource Center, participating in an art program, having some of that quality time together is just so important. And what we notice is that it also builds fellowship with the other participants. Often people then meet others who are also on the journey, so you have an opportunity to kind of talk with others and be like, so what's your experience? How are you navigating this? So not only us being a resource, but bringing other families together who can be a resource for each other.
Oh, that really makes a lot of sense. You know, sitting there with the caregivers, other caregivers, and sharing those stories and challenges
Correct.
and realizing that you're not alone.
Well, and that's it. And then we even have multiple support groups. Again, due to COVID, we have incorporated many of our support groups to be on Zoom, but that's exactly right. And we have our support groups targeted as well. So maybe you're the spouse, taking care of your loved one. So those are sometimes different kinds of challenges as opposed to you're the adult child taking care of your loved one. Different navigating in that regard. And I think also the support groups allow you to kind of voice like your frustrations or your expectations or things like that as well.
And there has to be so much frustration at times and
Correct.
challenges that you probably never expected you were going to have to endure.
Correct. And so I think being able to kind of connect with other people and voice those things, and then even have other people kind of tell you that they're dealing with the same thing. I joined one support group, and you wake up in the morning and you think you're going to have this great day, and you wake up and, some things are difficult. It's nice to join a support group and kind of hear the other folks as well say, I woke up this morning, it was really challenging too. And it's like, oh, you're not having a good day either? Whew. Someone else also understands.
Human nature being what it is, we often think, no matter what we're enduring, that we're unique. It's just us, and why me? And it's really good to have that opportunity. And maybe not even just a formal support group, but coming there with them and interacting with the other caregiver.
Correct.
Without it being that formal support group, they're getting that support.
Correct.
Because they're seeing others doing the same thing, whether it's, struggling to get them in and out of the car sometimes, or whatever the issues are, they're not alone.
Well, and sometimes it starts like that. It's interesting that you say that, because what we find is some people, I don't need a support group.
Exactly.
I don't need that at all.
Yep.
And then they come to some of the programs and, they make friends or buddy with someone, and someone's like, well, I go to the support group, so it's okay? It's like not that bad? Yeah, you should just join, know? And it starts like coaxing them a little bit to be like, hey, maybe I would feel better if I did this.
And sometimes coming from their peers, someone that's going through it themselves rather than someone who's working at the facility or the program, and you think they have a vested interest. This is a different kind of situation.
Correct.
We're going to take a little bit of a break.
Okay.
And we will be back here to learn more about Alzheimer's and dementia and all of the varying facets. Lauren is here from the Alzheimer's Resource Center right here in the town of Islip.
You are watching ITV, Channel 18, Islip Television.
Hi, this is Angie, Carpenter, town of Islip Supervisor, here on our Supervisor Spotlight with Lauren Vlachos, who is the Executive Director of the Alzheimer's Resource Center right here in Islip, in the town of Islip, in East Islip, 200 Carleton Avenue.
Correct.
Very easily findable.
Correct.
South of Sunrise Highway, on the west side as you're coming off the exit there on the corner of Adams.
Correct.
Right, in that big building there. So you opened there, June 1st was the official ribbon cutting. It was kind of exciting, beautiful day.
Yes.
And so many people came out. It was really, really lovely. Tell us about the facility itself. What do you have there?
So we're really excited. We have this new space, as you indicated, at 200 Carleton Avenue in East Islip. And so we have, when you actually come into the space, we're going to have more of like a living room type of feel with a lot of resources, lots of books, and even right now we're working on, really having board games and all kinds of various resources so that someone can come in, they can kind of peruse the different resources. If they even like to check out a book or a game, they can do so and take it, but they can also kind of sit down on the couches, peruse the information, and then have an opportunity to meet with our social worker, kind of get some information from her as well. We also have a big conference room so we can hold in-person support group meetings that we're hoping to do, and then we have a very big program area, and again, the hope is that by September we're going to be running in-person programming on site, and so some of those programs are going to be music therapy programs, art therapy programs, some bingo games, some brain games, and then the facility also allows us to do on-site education, and that's a big part of what we do as well. So we not only educate those who are caregivers to kind of come in and give them some tips and tricks and tools to kind of make their caregiving a little bit easier, but we also want to do education with law enforcement personnel. So again, if they're responding to a call, how to kind of maneuver responding to that situation if they are dealing with someone who has cognitive decline. We want to offer education programs even for youth, intergenerational programs. So maybe, they live in a house that's intergenerational and grandma is starting to exhibit signs of dementia or other forms of Alzheimer's, and so young people learning about that, what's happening and how can I help, things like that. So a lot of education, and then some of the other education we offer is actually for professionals. We work with a number of assisted living and nursing homes, and we will actually go into their facilities and train some of their recreational therapists about how to interact with folks who are having dementia or cognitive decline, because there are some things you really need to be cognizant of. How do you speak with people? How do you communicate? The tone of your voice. So we'll really go into some of those things with professional caregivers and educate them as well about how to kind of do their role.
So are there fees for these programs?
So for families, nothing, no. All of our programs are free for families in the community. When we partner with an assisted or a nursing home, we may charge an educational fee, and often that's because their professionals are getting continuing education credits, so things like that. But anything that we offer on site for families is completely free of charge.
Just talking to you, we have a number of senior centers in the town of Islip, and I know that they're very well used and serve an incredible purpose, and it's an outlet for our seniors to go to have socialization, and I am sure that there are many that are in those programs that probably suffer from some cognitive deficiencies, maybe not full-blown Alzheimer's, but have some issues. And our staff is absolutely incredible and so caring. But I'm just wondering if perhaps we could probably use a little bit of that
well, definitely.
training.
Even other things, one of the things that I've thought of as we really are getting rock and rolling in the fall is exactly right, reaching out to all of our senior centers, finding out how can we partner with them. Is there an opportunity that once a month we can actually come into each one and offer like an art class? And again, it would be free to all the seniors that participate in that particular center, but it's like, hey, we want to bring our art program, because we're recognizing, Supervisor, sometimes it's hard to travel so far. So how can we, while we're offering on-site programs in East Islip, how can I branch out into the other, townships within Islip to bring programs closer to them? So definitely would love to partner with those senior centers, and then even our public libraries. I mean, our library system is amazing in Suffolk County and in Nassau County, and so how could I partner with them and maybe, once a month have a free art program for those suffering cognitive decline in our local libraries as well. So trying to reach as many families as we can, kind of where they are at, and not making people travel, because we have noticed sometimes that's a hardship as well.
It can be a deterrent.
Yes, and getting out of the house and then having to go so far, sometimes that's disorienting. So how can we make it so that it's a nice, wonderful experience as opposed to making it such a challenging experience?
Well, I imagine you talked about creating a living room environment.
Yes.
When they come in, once they come there and start repeating visits there, they're going to have that sense of comfort and belonging, and it sounds like you guys are really paying attention to the details.
We really are, and I mean, even as we look at our space now, we're like, what are some of the colors that are soothing and inspiring? What are some of the decorations that we can do? But not only for those with cognitive decline, I've really kind of shared with our staff and our board, I want our space to be really a community center that, folks can come in and maybe they're not yet on the journey, but they want to learn more, they want to be educated. So come visit us, come hear about the things that we're offering, the programs that we're doing. We're definitely looking for volunteers, because even when we offer an art, therapy program on site, we might have 20 couples, and we can definitely use help with handing out, supplies, helping folks, things like that. So yes, we want to be this amazing resource.
What I'm curious about the music therapy program. what kind of music therapy do you, I mean, do you have instruments? Do you have them listening to music, identifying?
A little bit of everything, actually. I'm so glad that you asked us that. So yeah, so oftentimes we'll actually bring in a professional musician who will take requests, and the folks just love that.
I can imagine.
Oh my gosh, like, I mean, some favorites, of course, are like Billy Joel, Frank Sinatra, you know, like some of those kinds of hits. But every once in a while, they'll want to throw in a Lady Gaga song or something. But what I see is that people just get up and, you know, they want to dance and they kind of want the fellowship, especially now since many of us were isolated during COVID, especially our senior citizens as well. So what I see is people are happy to get together, socialize, and have some of that fellowship. And when the music is playing, it's so interesting. Folks might not remember what they had for breakfast, but they're singing all the lyrics.
Yep, it is
you know,
amazing.
Or telling you about a story like, oh, when I was in high school, this was the song they were playing, you know, and you're like, wow, and they start telling you their life story, and it's pretty amazing.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about, you know, Alzheimer's, and we've made some reference to dementia and cognitive. There certainly are different degrees and levels, and you said something that I thought was interesting. Well, you said a lot of things that were interesting, but the fact that not everyone may be suffering from it, but want to know about it, and it seems that if you know about it and know what to look for, you can nip it early.
Correct.
And perhaps, you know, stave off the serious implications of the disease.
You're exactly right. So, you know, prevention, education, all of those pieces, because, you know, we all have this wonderful expectation. We're going to retire at 65. We saved all our money. Now we're going to go buy the RV. We're going to travel. And sometimes that's not necessarily what the reality is. All of a sudden you start recognizing, you know, memory loss in your spouse. And, you know, so being able to get a quick diagnosis, get, you know, allows us to start putting a care plan in place, and even allows the individual themselves to get things sorted out and in order, you know, and figuring out, you know, what do I want for myself? What do I want for my family, you know? And sometimes there are hard decisions to make. You know, sometimes folks can only live at home for so long, and then the caretaking becomes overwhelming for the caregiver, and so other decisions need to be made. But if you can diagnose early, some of those decisions can be made together.
You know, I couldn't help but think as you were talking about diagnosing early and memory loss. A friend of mine who is 102 has just recently started suffering from memory loss, and it is so frustrating to her.
Of course.
And she's planning her 103rd birthday party this fall, but she said to me, I knew the number, and you know, like, you can't deny it. I knew I was getting older, but it kind of just snuck up on me. And I'm like, Natalie, you know? And she goes, but it's so frustrating because I'm forgetting. And I said, the very fact that you're aware of the fact that you're forgetting things. I mean, people forget things all the time.
Correct.
You know, so to me, I thought that was absolutely phenomenal.
Well, and I think that's something to keep in mind too. Just because it's like, you know, Dad was always forgetting where he placed his keys, that doesn't necessarily mean dementia or Alzheimer's, you know?
Yeah. And that's where the testing and everything comes in place.
Correct.
We're going to take another little break, but we will be back with Lauren to learn more about this disease that touches so many.
You are watching ITV, Channel 18, Islip Television.
Hi, this is Angie Carpenter, Town of Islip Supervisor, here on our Supervisor Spotlight with Lauren Vlachos, who is the Executive Director of the Alzheimer's Resource Center at 200 Carleton Avenue, East Islip, right here in the town of Islip. And we're so glad you're here, really. You were in Bayshore for a number of years. How long are you guys in Bayshore?
About 8 years, actually,
8 years, wow.
yes.
Yeah. That was a very nice facility. This, I think, is a little bit bigger, yes?
I'm not 100% sure because I was not with the organization when they were in Bayshore, but yes, they recently sold that facility and now have the new facility in East Islip.
Yeah. I was in both, and I think yours is a little bit bigger.
Okay.
The only thing that's missing is that back garden that they have there.
yes.
So it would be nice to see if you could carve out some space somewhere.
Yes, I actually
to
was
do
thinking
something
of
like
that. So I have, I was connected with the Boy Scouts of America, and I'm like, that could be a wonderful Eagle
Oh,
Scout project for
absolutely. Some
a young
benches outside,
a young
little
person.
gazebo or
Correct.
something. Definitely.
So
definitely.
I already have plans. I'm like, that could be a great project for a young
I
individual.
was at an Eagle Scout project at a senior facility, and the young man built a swing, a glider.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah, and that was very soothing. You know, you
Yes.
think about it. But so September is Alzheimer's Awareness Month.
Correct.
Among other awarenesses that we have on the pike. But so what can we do to raise that awareness? And this was very timely. I'm so glad you are here, because we will be airing this and letting people know about Alzheimer's and what to do and look for, and what treatments are available.
Right.
It's different now from what it was,
Correct.
10, 20 years ago. There is no reason to despair. So tell us about that.
So for the month of September, it's just a big focus on awareness, educating folks. As I was saying a little bit earlier, sometimes forgetfulness is just forgetfulness, sometimes, but maybe something else is going on. There are a number of facilities throughout Long Island where you can go and get cognitive testing and just kind of get checked out, because honestly, the sooner you kind of know what's going on, the sooner that a plan can be put in place, a care plan, and kind of figure out, okay, how are we going to navigate now that we know we're on this journey. So you're going to see a lot of information focused on again, getting treated early, getting a diagnosis early, but then also treatments, and then even brain health. I mean, brain health is so important. What are the things that we can do to keep our brain healthy? Crossword puzzles, games like that. Always being in our phones is not good for us. Getting out in nature. It's all the things, Supervisor, they tell us we should be doing. Eating well, trying to stay away from too much sugar, those things as well. So again, kind of even talking to people about a holistic type of lifestyle. Keep your brain healthy, keep your body healthy, make sure you're going and getting regular checkups with your doctor, and really doing all that you can to be proactive.
It's great that you said that. Keep your brain healthy. And,
yes.
It's not anything anyone ever says or thinks about. You don't wake up and say, wow, my brain feels great today. Or,
Correct.
Or my teeth feel good today, or whatever. But when something is wrong, when you have that toothache or the headache, you can't think of anything but.
Correct.
So we need to appreciate, our good health and protect it.
Correct. I mean, our whole bodies are this machine, and we have to take care of it and cater to it. And, ignoring signs or symptoms is never good, because it's not going to go away. It's just going to...
it only gets worse.
Correct.
With anything.
Correct.
Even... physically, when you talk about your home and if there's a leak, you're not going to just put a pot under the drip and think it's going to get better. It's just going to get worse. So
Correct.
You need to address issues immediately.
Well, and I think that's what you'll see. There are a number of organizations on Long Island that also focus on Alzheimer's awareness. While we, the Alzheimer's Disease Resource Center, there is the Alzheimer's Association that will definitely be focusing as well. There's also a wonderful organization in Westbury called LIAD. They're the Long Island Alzheimer's and Dementia organization. So I think you're going to see all of our organizations working together to make sure that the word is out, encouraging people to try and get diagnoses early. Again, keep that brain healthy, do games, watch Jeopardy at night, all of those things, keep us stimulated.
Yeah.
And so, yes, and lots of social media posts, and again, just educating folks.
Yeah. And I think that's really great that you mentioned the other organizations, because you're all in together.
Correct.
You're not competing.
No.
You are all unique in how you
Correct.
approach things. And I think, we are so lucky here in the town that the Alzheimer's Resource Center is here, because you are more, hands-on, local focused. You're there for people. It's not as global as some of the other organizations may appear to be. How about your funding? Now, I know you said the programs are free for families. But how does your funding work?
So we do receive a grant from New York State, which we're super grateful for. We have one or two big foundations that give to us, but mostly donors and individuals. And so even that, we're starting to put in place, we're going to be hosting a golf outing next year in June at the Woodside Country Club. So anybody who's a golfer, we'd love to have you. We also host a walk. We are going to host our walk in April of next year at the Marjorie Post Park Farm, which is in the town of Massapequa. So there's a little little fundraising there, but mostly donors and individuals as well. And again, as long as we are within the community, anything that we offer to the families and caregivers will always be free.
Lauren, tell people where they can call or what your web address is.
Definitely. So anyone can feel free to call. Again, you don't necessarily have to have a diagnosis, but they can find us at 631-580-5100, and our website is ADRCinc.org. And again, feel free to come down, drop in and visit us. We always love walk-ins. We are at 200 Carleton Avenue, which is East Islip, and it's right off you go south right off UGF Sunrise Highway, and we're right there.
What days of the week are you open?
Monday through Friday, 9 to 5.
Oh, okay.
Yes,
Very
and
cool.
then you will see on our website, our calendar will be up with all of the activities that we'll have in place for the month of September. Again, lots of in-person programs, some Zoom programs, support groups, all of that good stuff.
Do you have an email list where you email out information so that
Yes.
people could sign up and get information on a timely basis?
We definitely do. So yes, folks can definitely feel free to reach out to us through our website. But again, any individuals ever participate in one of our support groups, a memory cafe, we then email them out as well and say, hey, we're going to have this music program on this date, or hey, we're going to have this art therapy program on this date. Another program I didn't really focus on is we have an equine program. So we partner with a fabulous horse rescue out in Calverton called Spirit's Promise. And folks can sign up who live out there and go to the farm and really just, groom the horses, be around the horses. And you would think they're such big beasts that would be intimidating, but it's amazing. It's life-changing. And just being around them, folks kind of get out of their skin, kind of forget their worries for a little bit. And so those programs as well will be up and running.
Good.
Yeah.
I would be remiss if I didn't mention the Serenity Garden that we're planning. The town has a Parks Foundation, Islip Town Parks Foundation, and it's run by volunteers, no town employees. And we are planning this incredible facility over at Brookwood Hall in East Islip. And it is the Serenity Garden, and it is anchored by a gazebo, and there are 4 quadrants. But one of the quadrants is dedicated to those who suffer from Alzheimer's and dementia.
Fantastic.
So we'll be, reaching out to you
Yes.
as we get further down the road. We've just started clearing the property. One of the sectors is dedicated to kids that are developmentally disabled or on the autism spectrum, one to those that are sight or hearing impaired, and the other for seniors and veterans. So it'll be specific for each, but brought together with that gazebo in the middle, and it's going to be an incredible facility. And people that are, affected by each of those groups have just been so delighted to hear that there is going to be a place that they feel that they could go with their family, because it's on the campus of Brookwood Hall, and we've got, a playground there and the lake and tennis courts, et cetera. So it's a beautiful facility, and it really, will be a respite for many. So we're really looking forward to that and working with you.
Yes,
on
I would
that.
love that.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be fabulous. And I'm actually a master gardener, so I would love to come and help. Oh my gosh, you're speaking my language. That would be wonderful. And you're exactly right. Brookwood Hall is a beautiful campus, and our family definitely takes advantage of the space often. Yes.
Awesome. Well, we were just delighted to have you here today.
Thank you.
You're so enthusiastic, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. And you're making a difference every single day. Thank you so much for being here, Lauren. And again, please think about supporting this organization and being patient with those that are dealing with this disease and on this particular journey at this time in their lives. So thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.